So, do y'all remember when I came on here and said that I'm never going to work in customer service again? Well, see if it's even possible for me to go abroad and teach English. A whole lot of rejection that I'm just not ready. Hola, bonjour, jambo, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tayana, and I make videos about me trying to transition into digital marketing and heavy on trying because your girl has not been successful. So in my last video, I went a little bit on a rant about how I wanted to give up on digital marketing because I couldn't even get interviews. I couldn't get interviews. I was applying to non-marketing jobs as well that I had experience in, and I still cannot get interviews, callbacks, a response, anything. And I know the job market is not doing so great right now, and a lot of people are struggling to find jobs. So I understand. We're all in this together. Went from a panini to inflation and now a recession. And this is my first time ever experiencing a recession as an adult because I'm only 25. And last time I was in this type of predicament, I was only in middle school. So we were struggling, but that wasn't my responsibility. So in my last video, a lot of people left comments saying that I should try to start freelancing, create a portfolio, get my name out there, things like that, or even other ideas that I thought was very useful. And so I listened. So let's talk about it. I created a website. I created an online portfolio, which I'm going to leave down below if you want to give me some tips or critiques, anything like that, advice. I also started a blog. Well, I just created my first post yesterday. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. And what else have I done? Oh, I started networking. So I'm not a networking queen. I'm very introverted, to be honest, and I barely leave the house. But I decided, I was going to listen to the advice, and, it's time for me to get out and do things. So I attended a conference. It was called Black is Tech. And honestly, it was amazing. This one was not in person. This was completely online. But I had the opportunity to connect with some digital marketers. And we've been in contact a little bit since the event. And I believe it was a month ago when it occurred. And so I spoke to one person. She's a digital marketer. And I kind of told her a little bit of what I was doing, what I was trying to do. And she told me she was going to look into if she could even hire an apprentice. There were some legal things with her business and she wasn't for sure if she could do it, but she did like some of my work. And then I reached out to someone else to see if we can book a meeting just to talk about the industry. Maybe he can give me some advice, some tips and pointers. He reached back out actually a few days ago, but I have yet to hear anything back. So we're going to see. So I'm not giving up on that. What else did I do? I started reaching out to business owners in my community. So far, I've only reached out to about 8 people, and I've gotten some no's with a whole bunch of no responses, but that's a given. It makes sense. It's going to happen. Yeah. So with that, I kind of stopped after a while because I'm all of this rejection, I'm getting rejected from reaching out to people and business owners, and then I'm getting rejected from applying to jobs. That's a whole lot of rejection that I'm just not ready to handle right now. So I stopped a little bit on that. I'm going to continue to reach out to people, but in the meanwhile, continue to improve my skills and applying to jobs. Boom. Speaking of jobs, again, like I mentioned, I have yet to find one. I did go to a job fair last week, and that was interesting. So let's get into that. So at the job fair, I was expecting different types of jobs besides customer service, and it was just not that. Literally everything was in customer service, and y'all know how I feel about customer service. But at this point, I don't know if it's just an Atlanta job market thing or what, but it seems like those are the only jobs that are available. And then when you even find you a entry-level social media position, the pay is so bad, horrible. So at the job fair, I had the opportunity to speak to a representative from one of the companies, and she basically gave it to me like this. If you want to get any type of marketing or like those social media positions, you need to start at the bottom. Basically, you need to start on the phones, taking those phone calls, and eventually you'll network, build your way up, you'll meet the right people, and then you can get one of those positions. Now, y'all know I didn't want to hear that. I did not want to hear that because I understand that. Like, that's how some people get their positions. Like, they work at the bottom and they move their way up inside the company, and it works for them. But, however, okay? I believe that works for people who are definitely able and willing to do a job that they could they're able to do a job that they can tolerate. They can tolerate that for 2 years, 3 years, and eventually get to where they want. However, I cannot tolerate phones. So I may have to do something in person. I can't tolerate talking on the phone about boring stuff like insurance or credit for 8 hours a day. Like, I literally, it just drains my soul. It drains my soul. So, yeah, that made me start thinking, like, what is it that I can tolerate, or what is it that I'm willing to do at the bottom to try to like build my way up. So that then brought me to start thinking about, okay, what is it that I truly want to do, or think about some things I've always wanted to do outside of digital marketing, since that's not working out, that I could possibly pursue. Here's what I've been thinking. Like I mentioned, I want to think about what is it that I've always wanted to do but I've never done as far as work. And here is one thing that I've always wanted to do, and that is teach abroad. Now, you may be like, what? How did we get here from digital marketing to teaching abroad? My first love in life was languages, language learning. I started learning Japanese when I was 14. I gave up eventually, started learning Spanish because it was easier. I've always loved learning languages, and that was my goal, was to be a teacher when I was younger, but I never pursued it. So I was thinking, maybe, just maybe I should lean into that, or just see if it's even possible for me to go abroad and teach English. Because as you know, I already teach English online right now, whenever I have time. With that path, what I would have to do is take any job at the moment and apply to teaching programs abroad. And so far, I've only considered Taiwan and Japan because the pay seems to be good, and especially Taiwan, it just seems a lot friendlier to foreigners, and Japan seems okay. If you're all interested, maybe I can do another video on that. So yeah, so I do that, but then also in my spare time, I'll work on building my freelance business, getting clients, improving my skills, continue doing social media, my blog, all of that. Now, if I don't get accepted to teach abroad, or I can't for some reason, if I'm content with where I'm working, I'll stay. If not, I'm gonna have to start thinking of another thing I would want to do. So what I would consider in that case is a different job, such as being a flight attendant. Being a flight attendant, there was something else I was interested in, but I can't remember, I didn't write it down. Mainly being a flight attendant, or working somewhere within the airport. Like, yeah, I'm on the travel thing, you know. If that does not work out, or, you know, during that time I decide I don't want to go down that route, what I would decide is what I would consider is going back to school. And I didn't want to go back to school because I hate being in debt. I don't want to be in debt. I don't believe in debt. So here are some master degrees that I'm considering. I don't think I'm crazy when I say these, okay? The first one, of course, would be a master's degree in like marketing or digital media because, I'm already interested in that. My second option would be a master's degree in computer science. And you're probably thinking like, computer science, what? Well, quick story time. So when I was in college, back in the day, I wanted to take coding classes. Like I was interested in it, never did it, felt like I couldn't do it. I wasn't smart enough. I was never good in math and science when I was a kid. 2020, I started working at this nonprofit and we had STEM classes, or we would facilitate like STEM camps, like a Lego camp, stuff like that. Thought it was very interesting and fun. Found out about software engineering shortly after that. And I was really going to go to a coding boot camp to study software engineering, but I never did it. I thought it wasn't for me. Thought, you know what, maybe I'm not smart enough to do this. Then the pandemic came, and guess what, y'all? I found this part-time position where they would train you and like learning this coding language that this company created for kids. And basically you would get paid to host classes, teach the coding concepts and assist the kids as they're building these games that they want to create. And I've been doing that since 2020. So it's been over 2 years since I've been doing that, and I really enjoy it. So now that I know that I have an interest in this, I'm thinking maybe I could possibly study computer science because I'm very interested in game development, creating games, coding, things like that. But I feel like I need an actual instructor. I need to be in a classroom to fully learn it. I've tried to learn on my own and I just don't have the discipline to do it. And I really want to deep dive into these topics, and I think I can do that in a school setting. I've considered a boot camp, but it's too quick for me and I want something a little bit more drawn out. So the last thing I would consider is some type of master's degree in education. Like I've mentioned before, I teach English when I'm able to. Well, I used to teach English online. I really enjoyed it. So maybe try to find a degree in education in English or something like that that I can use. That would be useful here and abroad if possible. So that is all that I have today. So I'm still in the deciding process. I'm definitely going to go with the first option of job, apply to teach abroad, and just see what happens and continue to do this like freelance stuff and social media, whatever. Let me know how you all are dealing with this recession. Like, how are you making it? Because it's difficult. If you have any experience traveling abroad or specifically teaching English abroad, let me know. And maybe I can do another video about like why I'm interested in that and like what I hope to gain and do from teaching abroad and just the process, programs I'm applying to, things like that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.